Endometriosis affects approximately 1 in 10 women. Despite how widespread it is, it often goes misdiagnosed for years. Women report feeling dismissed and gaslit, and there's no known cure and no known causes. Endometriosis is classed as a disability under the Equality Act in the UK. Today, I have the opportunity to speak to several women who deal and live with endometriosis every single day. We'll go through their diagnostic process, what the pain actually feels like, and their experiences with the medical system. Thank you so much for joining us on Behind the Waitlist. So I'm really intrigued, what was the process of getting diagnosed with endometriosis like for you?
Hard work.
For me, it was an 11-year-long process.
I just were never taken seriously.
My diagnosis was really late. It was like about 9 or 8 years late.
It took 5 years for me to get an actual, you've got endometriosis diagnosis.
The GP kind of like dismissed me. It sounds more like physio. It sounds more like a back issue.
I was told that I had IBS.
They constantly said, it's just painful periods, it's just painful periods.
They told me that I had gastroparesis.
And how would you describe your experience with doctors?
There was one doctor that eventually took me serious, but this is after I'd already self-diagnosed myself. Like, I was basically saying to him, I think I've got endometriosis. Even one at times I went to A&E and I'd got excruciating pain. They were like, you've got constipation. I've got constipation, but really I'd got endometriosis. It's just insane. I felt gaslit all the time. I think it's easy for them to try and dismiss it rather than get to the root of the issue because of how long it takes.
Have you ever felt gaslit or dismissed by doctors when dealing with endometriosis?
Yes, very much so.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, 100%.
And how would you say endometriosis affects your everyday life in terms of work, relationships, your social life, etc.?
I don't know what it's like not to be in pain. Every single day I have some sort of pain. It affects you in so many ways. You can't really have much of a social life. You know, like even if you're in a relationship, it affects that as well. It gets to a point you don't want to express how you're feeling, and it affects you mentally because you kind of feel you're doing it all yourself. You're suffering in silence because you don't, like me anyway, I don't want to be that person that's constantly moaning, you know, saying that I'm in pain, like today I've got burning feeling, today I feel tired. You don't want to be that person, you know.
The main word to just sum it up is it's just debilitating. Like it affects every aspect. I left my full-time job and had to go part-time somewhere else. Relationships, I feel like it's quite easy to guess why it's difficult for relationship wise, and just plans. Like, there's been so many times when I've made plans to go out and I'll have a flare up in the middle of being out and I'm like, I can't be here right now, like I need to go home.
Work's a really heavy one for me because I love to really put my all and my 100% into anything I do. If I get too stressed, all these things start to flare up, and it's so annoying because I honestly, like, if I didn't have any of these symptoms, I could totally just deal with the stress.
And how would you describe the pain that you feel with endometriosis to someone who hasn't experienced it?
You feel like you're being stabbed and you can't stop it. You feel like someone or something is grabbing your insides and just squeezing it. Like everything, like I feel like, you know, like my ovaries are being squeezed, like everything. It just feels like, you know, I don't even know how to describe it other than that. Like it's going to explode. And if you aren't diagnosed, you're like, oh my God, I have appendicitis. I'm going to die. And like that's why it's one of the top 20 most painful conditions in the world. And it's crazy that there's not more research on it. But stabbing and squeezing is, I think, the two words I would describe what my endo pain felt like.
That is so accurate. It feels like hot, squeezing, stabbing pains, but it's also like my whole body is going through this soreness, like inflammation. I'm experiencing fatigue. It is literally like a whole body disease.
The only way that's closest to explain it is like you're wringing a tea towel out or like a wet towel and you're like pulling that. That is the best that I can like explain. So it's like a twisting sensation, I suppose, but like full on.
It just feels like a really sharp knife being stuck up my, yeah. And then another one would just be like a string from my belly button down. It's just not good.
And if you could send one message to the public or the healthcare system, what would it be?
There's so many things that people are aware of, and I feel like one of the biggest things that's overlooked is endometriosis. Like, it's a massive, massive thing. But I still get people now when I'll say I've got endometriosis. Oh, what's that?
Yeah.
And just a little bit of knowledge would go afar, because people would understand why you're in that pain.
I think you should just take it more seriously because it affects you in so many ways. It's not, like I said before, it's not just a gynecological issue, it's actually inflammation in your body. Don't dismiss that, it's just a bad period.
I would say believe people when they're coming to you and share that they're in excruciating pain. Even if they're in minor pain, you should still believe them, but focus on diving deep into the root cause. And birth control doesn't always fix everything. It's a great tool for some people, but for some people's bodies, it rejects it and it doesn't work. And help them find something alternative to help make them feel better.
So it's really hard one because there's so much I would want to say. But the main one is definitely how important it is for us endometriosis women to take care of our hormones at home and to incorporate that into our lifestyle and really care for them through lifestyle, stress, movement, and diet, and also avoiding toxins. And those are all things that contribute to the growth or the slowing the growth of endo, and it's so important. And I feel like it needs to be a stronger, more obvious message for women with endometriosis because it's just so not clear.
If you like this video, don't forget to give me a follow and subscribe to my YouTube. I'm Kate and I created Behind the Waitlist to raise awareness about medical misogyny, medical gaslighting, and the extreme waiting lists that are putting women in significant amounts of pain every single day. Endometriosis affects 1 in 10 women. I myself suffer with it, and I can tell you it is the worst thing that's ever happened to my body. It affects me every single day. It affects every area of my life, and I cannot stay silent about it. It's horrific. I'm raising awareness about all the conditions that affect women and the things that women have to go through just to be diagnosed, just to be taken seriously by a doctor. So join the community, give me a follow, comment your story below, and let's make some noise.